All right, we should be live, I think. Yep, looks good to
It's like
me.
it.
Very good. Uh, you'd think I'd know what I'm doing by now, but you're never too sure if you're clicking buttons right or not. But should be good. We should be live, and we can begin with whatever episode number this is. I don't know anymore. I'm sorry. It's been too many. So, speedrunning.
It's a thing. Something that we do for some reason,
Yeah.
subject ourselves to.
Yeah, for a while. Some of us. I'm at 10 years next year, so that's fun.
God, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, great intro. Anyway, we can have you introduce yourself.
yeah, of course. Hi, so my name is Vidya James. I am a streamer, YouTuber, all that fun jazz.
Mhm.
Mostly specializing in N64 Legend of Zelda games. More so Majora's Mask, but Ocarina of Time as well. It's kind of been my main gig for at least the last 6 years. Something I mess around, but I do have a little bit of a background in other games and quite a few different events and different marathons that I can talk about at some extent. But that's kind of the general overview. I'm mostly a Zelda guy. If you know me at all, chances are you probably know me for a one YouTube video that got really popular last year about a certain blue dog in Majora's
Oh my
Mask.
god, you're Blue Dog guy? Whoa,
What? Oh my God!
whoa.
Ah.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
Anyway.
it's kind of funny just because yeah, I've been throwing stuff at the internet for some odd like 15, 16 years now. And obviously building my following on Twitch with speedrunning and associated content. And my YouTube channel was always sort of secondary to that. But if you look at my YouTube channel, it's actually like the first things that I did when I was a wee lad back in high school was making Mario Paint videos, just using the music sequencer and making like taking real songs and putting them in Mario Paint. And that's kind of where I got my start. And I managed to build a huge, wildly successful following of like 500 subscribers. And that was at the time I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so many people. That's such a big deal. And then I kind of just I moved off to college and I stopped with that. But that's kind of where I got my start. And through that, believe it or not, through that, I actually met quite a few people who would set me on the path to speedrunning. And from that, like, the YouTube channel, I kind of cast it aside and it was always secondary. But occasionally I would just like upload, like, oh, I want to talk about this cool thing in Zelda or this some other interesting story. And for some reason, when I uploaded the Blue Dog video, I had about 1,000 subscribers after 15 years of having that YouTube channel open. And it is currently sitting at just under 5 million
Oh
views,
my
which is
god.
crazy. I can't believe that is a real number that I'm looking at. And I jumped from YouTube, went from the smallest following I had to the largest by a significant margin. I'm at 30K
Oh my
subscribers
god.
now, which is crazy. I can't believe that is a number I'm saying out loud. But I've never been like it's weird. I've never been a YouTube guy. I've never thought of myself as a primarily YouTube creator, but now like the tables have kind of flipped. But it's just a really remarkable flip, and I'm so happy that not necessarily that my channel's doing well. I'm just happy that a story that I was able to tell was able to reach so many people and touch so many people that way. So
Oh yeah. Well, I'll definitely dive into that later, but
mhm.
I try to go in a timeline of events, so I do want to
Okay,
start at the
cool.
beginning. But
Yeah,
actually, there's a non-zero chance I saw your Mario Paint videos years ago
yeah,
because
I've heard
yeah.
that from Yeah, I've heard that from quite a few people who said, like, I definitely saw this video in high school. I can't believe this is the same guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not surprised because
Non-zero chance for sure because I
Mhm.
remember seeing a lot of those and the like auto Mario World runners going to
Oh yeah,
music. Yeah. There's something about those, but yep.
yeah,
Anyway, you said that kind of led to discovering speedrunning. I'm kind of interested.
yeah, absolutely. I can talk about that. So, yeah, in high school, I saw, all these videos of people putting, musical compositions of Mario Paint on, and I, did music in high school as well. I played a couple instruments. I kind of largely abandoned that side of my life, but at the time I was like, okay, this looks like something I could do, and so I started just making a couple songs and seeing where it led to, and eventually there was this forum that was made for people who did this. Believe it or not, it was like an old message board forum, and just people who made these Mario Paint videos on YouTube, and we would all talk about music or basically anything else. And we are all like about the same age. We're all like high school, maybe some people in their early 20s, but it was around that. So we all had a lot in common that way, which isn't surprising. It's a Super Nintendo game, so you generally get a lot of people around the same age at that point. One friend who I met through this ended up through some other connections attending a charity marathon called Zeldathon. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's
Yes.
kind of a neat thing. It's one of the longest running charity marathons, video game charity marathons. And so this friend of mine, who I'm still very, very close friends with today, she went to Zeldathon back in 2014, and this was around the same time that I was starting to get into Twitch and all sorts of stuff. My Twitch account actually I was made specifically because of Twitch plays Pokemon.
Yep.
It was this is the coolest thing ever. Oh my god, I want to see more of this. That was kind of how I discovered live streaming, was through that. And then Zeldathon pops up right after, and so I watch it. I get it's kind of inserted myself into that community, and then I did get an invite in late 2014. And me, as someone who is just barely starting to understand what speedrunning is and kind of learn the ropes, I didn't have a clue about Zelda. Like the first speedruns I watched on Twitch, actually, believe it or not, was Super Monkey Ball of all things, because
Hmm.
those are super fun, super engaging, and flashy speedruns. So like nothing to do with Zelda at all, but when I got to Zeldathon, I was like, it's like my whole world was opened up. Like, oh my god, I can't believe there's so many people who, you know, feel this way about the Legend of Zelda. People who are passionate about it, and people who are good at this game too, right? Like, I'd watched people do some Zelda speedrunning in passing, but it was never like the thing I was mainly interested in. But as soon as I came to this, I was like, okay, I know this is kind of my life now.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And so it was.
Hmm. So yeah, that was late 2014 was when I started doing that, and that was uh kind of, let me try to remember. It's been 12 years at this point. I can't really remember. I think I was like middle of college at that point, so still aspiring, not necessarily out on my own yet, but it was cool to be able to travel and go to these events. So for a while, Zeldathon was pretty much the only thing I did. I didn't go to GDQs for quite a while after that, because I was still very much someone who. It's funny the way that we learn these games, because Zeldathon had these specific rules. We weren't specifically a speedrunning marathon at that point. We had rules like you're not allowed to skip cutscenes, you're not allowed to do major skips or glitches. Like small stuff is fine, but
Hmm.
like we have to watch the cutscenes. We really have to appreciate the Legend of Zelda for what it is, and not just the speedrunning aspect of it. Which, if you look at Zeldathon today, it's still going on now. You look at it today, that's a complete opposite. We're
Mm-hmm.
we're inviting gymnasts, we're inviting all these really really talented people who, if you tell them to don't skip the cutscenes, they'll look at you like you have three heads, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, back when I was doing it, it was like we had something. We literally called it Zeldathon percent, which is I hate that now. It's so stupid, but it's like let's learn how to speed run the game, glitchless, no cutscene skips, which amounted to certain things that were like bending the rules or whatever. But for the most part, we just played the games straight up as they're intended to be played, so to speak. So, I actually the first game that I ran was Twilight Princess. And back then, I did look up a glitchless speedrun and learn some tech from that. But you can't do the cutscenes. And let me tell you, Twilight Princess with cutscenes, that's like an extra 2 hours on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already not the shortest game in the world. So it definitely did add up. But that was the first Zelda game I ever touched, was Twilight Princess. And I remember I think I remember trying to speedrun it, like learn actual speedrun tech, and there's a skip right at the beginning of the game where it's called Sword and Shield skip, where you do this jump attack on an enemy and skip a text trigger that prevents you from progressing without other items. I think I practiced it for like 5 hours and I got it once. And I said, "This sucks. I hate this. I'm not doing this. This is impossible." And this is also before like like the practice ROM didn't exist for TP at this point. The best you could do was like Dolphin save states, but I didn't have a laptop that could run Dolphin, so yeah, that was kind of my first foray into speedrunning Zelda, where I just said, "Screw it, I'm not going to do that."
Hmm.
Uh, and like many other speedrunners around this time, it was around 2016. I think so many speedrunners go through like when there's like, what game do I learn to speedrun? What should I pick up? And of course, you land on, this Mario 64 game seems pretty fun. Let's give this a shot.
The rite
16
of
star, that looks
passage.
easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely a rite of passage that you have to go through when you're obviously I did that for like a month, and I remember visiting one of my friends. So shout outs to a couple people. Super MC Gamer. He is the
Hmm.
he was the creative director of Zeldathon for many years. He was the founder of it. He's the one who got the ball rolling, and he's still producing events to this day, and he's still one of my very closest friends. So he had a house with a couple other streamers. One name you might recognize is Snarfy Bobo, who used to be a very talented Sunshine and Galaxy speedrunner. Doesn't speedrun anymore, but they were living under the same roof. So I said, let's go ahead and visit them. And I remember this was right when I was like starting to learn Mario 64. So that's all we did all weekend is we just like took turns doing 16 star and trying to beat each other. And I remember getting my PB not recorded on the only console we had to run Mario 64 was Wii U,
Mm.
which any Mario 64 runner listening right now is probably cringing because
I know
Wii
I
U
am.
VC. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But for the longest time, I always said that my Mario 64 16-star PB was on Wii U VC. It's not anymore, but for the longest time it was, which is hilarious. Um, but that was after that I kind of said, okay, well, I looked at the leaderboard. I'm like, oh my god, this is actually like the most competitive category. There's like thousands of runs submitted. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to get to this level, so I kind of gave up on that. Mario 64 has always kind of been off to the sidelines. It's a game that I can kind of do at an okay level, but it's never been one that I pursued seriously. But I guess after that, I kind of like had to think about like which games do I actually care about the most, which ones do I want to learn to speedrun. And so I landed on Majora's Mask, which is my number one favorite game casually. I love that game to death, if you couldn't tell.
Hmm.
So Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time was always kind of second, as well as Twilight Princess. But for the longest time, I didn't necessarily learn any advanced speedrunning tech for that. I was always much of a, you know, someone who would do the Zeldathon percent I mentioned earlier, where I was just like, okay, let's learn the game kind of good, but not good enough to actually like submit a speedrun or anything like that. So that was let me think. Yeah, it was like 2017, 2018. There's so many old Zeldathon runs that I look back on because they're all still on YouTube. I look back on and I cringe at because I'm like, oh man, this guy's so confident in how he's playing the game and he's not doing any speedrun tech at all. He's not doing any tricks. He's just playing. He's not even backwalking. Like, who is this guy? Who is this scrub?
Well, did they still
Um,
have the rules in place?
oh yeah. This was way back, like 2017, 2018. Like you very much, unless you were like I think that was around the time we started inviting people who did actually speedrun, but there was kind of an understanding that unless you were there to specifically do a speedrun, unless that was like your pedigree, then if you were just a cast member of Zeldathon, you stuck to the rules, you stuck to the old fashioned ways.
So you have an
So it was
excuse,
like,
so it's fine.
yeah, exactly. So like Twilight Princess always took like 9 hours. Skyward Sword took like 11 hours. Sometimes in the early days, this was like before my time because Zeldathon's been going on for longer than GDQ, if you can believe it. It
Wait, what?
started, yeah, the first Zeldathon was December 2009. So
Holy
it
shit.
predates GDQ
By
by
one
like a
month?
couple months.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
Wow.
Um, yeah, the first Zeldathon was three people in the basement as a high school project, and it raised like $300. Like it was like tiny. I know the early GDQs were tiny, but this was like a baby marathon.
Mhm.
Um, it had the I think it was actually inspired by the Speed Gamers was
Mhm.
who MC was watching and said like we should do this but for Zelda. Shout out to the Speed Gamers, also still running today, still doing their thing,
Wow.
which is crazy. And I think they also had an influence on the early GDQs as well.
Mhm.
Because it was that Mikey almost saw that along with like Quake Done Quick, I think. I'm not too like studied on the history, but I think that had something to do with it. Anyway, it was around this time that like I was starting to make real lifelong friends through this, as you do, as you would do at a marathon like this. The same thing that happens at GDQ, people who you just stick by no matter what. I was actually living with a couple of Zeldathon members who were local to me in Toronto. So we shared a house for a couple years, and one of my friends, she had started going to GDQ the year prior, because she was making a lot of friends through Twitch of that. Her name is ZQ. A lot of people would probably recognize her, ZQ or Zelda Queen. Um, she's still very close to me. Get to see her every couple months. But she was going to GDQs and said, "You should go to one of these. I think you would have a great time." So I went to SGDQ 2018. That was the first marathon I ever went to.
Wait, me
Is
too.
SGDQ 20. That was your first as well? Oh my
Yes,
God.
literally.
So, oh
That's
my God,
funny.
we have some stuff to talk about then.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll know what you're
yeah,
mentioning, yeah.
yeah. So, and that was really formative for me because my impression, and I'd gone to like local conventions and I'd gone to Zeldathons. I had no idea what the draw of GDQ was because I had obviously watched it and I learned what the stream looked like. But if you go to GDQ, you know that the stream itself is often secondary to whatever else
Mm,
is going on at the marathon.
yeah.
Um, and so I went in knowing literally one person, my roommate, who then introduced me to like everyone, like so many people who I'm still so close with today. And I had a blast. Again, just knowing one person was enough to like get my foot in the door and like meet so many awesome people. So that's what, like my recommendation when I'm telling people about GDQ and they're like, I'm thinking about going, but like I'm not sure if it's for me. I'm like, just go with
Mm,
one person who knows other people and you will have a blast. I promise you that you just need to know one person to like start your journey and meet all these people. And that's kind of where it was. And now all the time I just go to GDQs on my own now and I know everybody. Like I'm
mhm.
having a blast there. But
Yep.
GDQ 2018, SGDQ 2018 was it was in Bloomington. And I think the thing that I remember most is the hotel rooms that would have the balconies that face the pool
Mhm, yes.
in the hotel, and people would just like they were screaming, just like shouting to the people, like people who were swimming, throwing pool like beach balloons and stuff like that. Oh my God, it was chaos. It was mayhem.
My
But
room was not there. But I
okay,
know I know the room you're talking about.
yeah, you've heard the stories. You've heard the stories. Okay. Um, but yeah, that was what else can I say about that marathon? That was the first marathon where like they got really I remember it was a meme, it's like, can I see your badge? And it was like literally like every single time you went around the corner there was somebody like make sure you see your badge. And obviously they do that. It's very important to have badge checks, but I remember that being a joke because before then it was not that strict. So
Mm.
I think there was a meme page, it's like one of the like frankerzy.org pages where it was literally like blocked off and it just said, "Hold on, before you enter the site, can I see your badge?" So people were really leaning into it, which is funny. Um, but yeah, I think I don't know if I'll be able to show it off. This is just such a random story, but this is such a personal story to me. Um, a couple of my friends did a road trip from Canada to Minneapolis to go to this marathon. And when they were in Canada, they were like, "Well, we need to get a Kinder Surprise, Kinder Egg, Kinder
Mm,
Surprise, because it's like you don't have them in the U.S. and this is like
yeah.
a big deal, like a big novelty." And in the Kinder Surprise was a little like Elsa toy, like Elsa from Frozen,
Oh god.
and this Elsa toy became like the icon of the room we were in because we had we basically put her on the fridge that had our beverages. And anytime we wanted to get a beverage, we'd say you have to kiss Elsa, or you have to tap Elsa and say thank you, the keeper of the fridge. And I promise there's a reason I'm going on this story, because at one point we went to Mall of America, as you do, and we go to the Disney store, and of course they have a ton of Frozen stuff. And so I'm like, you know what? We're going big. We have to go big on this. And so I find a much bigger Elsa doll, because the one we were using was like this small, little big baby one. But I find an Elsa doll, and then I'm like, this is the new mascot for our room. And they put it, and it was like, that was the rule. Anybody coming into the room who wanted to get a drink or open the fridge or anything, it's like you have to, you know, tap the Elsa doll, kiss the Elsa doll, do whatever. It's like the mascot of our room. And that Elsa doll is now still, let me see if I can show this off. It is still in my
Oh my
room,
god.
hung above the door.
Just
And so,
T-posing.
exactly, yeah. So anytime I look up, that is a memory. That's a memory of my first GDQ right there. Always just stay there in my stream room. So
Right.
yeah, that's the biggest memory I have. But yeah, that was a wonderful, wonderful marathon. I met so many friends who I'm still so close with today. It was a great first GDQ.
hmm
But,
It's funny because my experience was a little different because I didn't end up
yeah, let's hear
branching
it.
out too much.
Okay.
Um, Obviously that's how I met people in person for the first time. I had only been around for not
Mhm.
even a year yet, and I stayed with Mario 1 people, so
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, I kind of just stayed with the same group the whole time.
Yeah.
Because
I
social
mean,
anxiety is fun that way, but
oh, no kidding. You
we
and
got there.
everybody else at GDQ. Yeah.
Yeah. It took a few events, but we got there eventually.
Yeah. I am thankfully, for better or for worse. I don't know if it's confidence or stubbornness or
Hmm.
just idiocy, but like, you put me in a group of people and I'll be happy to chat. And by the end of the night, maybe they'll be really annoyed with me, but at least I did my part. You know, I didn't back away from an opportunity to talk to new people. So
Yeah.
that was good.
Part of it was the first all the pre-COVID events I was under 21, you see.
Oh yeah.
So,
Okay.
that's
Kind of
once you're over 21, all of a sudden you have the substance you can have that really makes you a lot more talkative and open to
true.
so, that helped a lot. But
Oh yeah. I guess this is a funny aside related to that. So I'm Canadian. Where I live, the drinking age is 19.
Mhm.
Um, and when I was about to turn 21, actually, was the first time I went to Zeldathon. Was my birthday is December 30th, and the marathon started on December 27th.
Mm.
So, I go there, and I'm 20 years old, 21 in 3 days. And so, I'm telling people there who I'm meeting for the first time, hey, my birthday's in a few days. I'm turning 21. And they're like, oh, that's so exciting. You must be so excited to drink. I'll buy you a drink on your birthday. I'm like, thanks, I appreciate it, but I've been able to drink alcohol for 2 years now. Like, it's not a big deal, guys.
Yeah.
It's fine. But it was funny because there was this weird, like, 3 day period where it was like, oh yeah, I can't drink alcohol again. That's weird. And then turning
God
21 in the
bless
US is kind
America.
of I got a lot of free beers though, so that was awesome.
Nice.
But yeah. Um, yeah, and I do want to stress, if anybody's listening, thinking about going to their first GDQ, absolutely, you do not need to be able to drink, be
Mhm.
of legal drinking age to have a good time. It's just certainly there are certain groups who that is part of the culture, but you can definitely find. I know tons of people who have a blast at GDQ, and like that's not even it's not even a thought for them. It's
Yeah.
it's not part of the experience. So.
I'd go even if I was allergic to alcohol, to
Oh,
be fair.
absolutely, absolutely.
It just
I
makes
always say,
gives you something to do at night, every night,
mhm.
a lot.
I'm
Anyway.
just I'm just a compulsive sipper is what I am. I always need something, like, I have, like, this is a empty glass of water right now, but, I'm just I need something to sip on at all times, or I'm just
Mhm.
gonna go crazy. Doesn't matter if it's, beer or Dr. Pepper. Love Dr. Pepper, by the way. Shout outs, or even water, anything like that. Yeah,
That's fair.
that GDQ will always hold a very special place in my memories. I remember again, talking about my roommate ZQ. She was part of this road trip that I was not. I was flying back, but it was really funny because she's leaving with a couple others. They're going to the airport, or no, sorry, she's leaving to go on her road trip, And so I'm saying goodbye. You know, it was so nice to meet you. Oh my God, I hope to see you again. I hope you can be back soon. And then I looked at her. I'm like, yeah, all right. See you tomorrow. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's like, this is nothing special. But
Yeah.
no, there were tons of people who I was like so happy to see. I'm trying to think who else I made really good friends with. Random shout outs, Steve Massey, Corey, Zik3, AJ Ping Pong. Any of you are listening, you made that GDQ something special. So thank you. Still, I don't know if I think usually Corey still gets runs in almost every. Okay, not this marathon coming up, but he's done. I remember he closed out. I think it was GDQ 25, AGDQ 25, or maybe SGDQ 25. I don't remember. I remember them doing a Final Fantasy run that was quite something special. But no, after that, so that was 2018. I skipped out on AGDQ 2019 and then SGDQ. And then I remember a lot of people, I never did this, but what would happen, the way the scheduling would work out is Zeldathon would be December 27th to January 2nd. And then Magfest would be right after, like the weekend right after. And then Magfest would end and GDQ would begin. So what a lot of people would do is they would go to Zeldathon, which was in Western Pennsylvania at the time, and then make the drive down to Washington, D.C., which it was like not even, it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive. So they would do Zeldathon for a whole week. They would do Magfest the weekend after, and then they would just stay in DC and go to GDQ. And it was like 3 weeks of convention. And by the end of it, they were just exhausted. It's like, I could never, ever, ever do that. But 2020, I said, you know, I'm going to save up. I'm going to save up PTO and money so that I can do at least Zeldathon into GDQ because it had moved to Orlando, right? So I couldn't do Magfest, but at that point, I was you know pretty much done with Magfest at that point. But I was like, I need to do the GDQ into or the Zeldathon into GDQ combination, and so I went to AGDQ 2020, which were you at that, Mary? Were you
Oh yeah.
present at GDQ 20?
Okay.
Okay,
So my
so
first
you know,
was your first event, and then the only one I've missed is SGDQ 2019 since I've been to
okay,
every
okay.
other one.
I see. Okay,
So
cool. So then you know that did you talk to anybody who went to AGDQ 2020 and they will have stories. They will
oh
tell
yeah.
you that was the GDQ for
Hmm.
a lot of reasons. That hotel was like built to have a GDQ marathon. It was spacious. It had a wonderful like the ballroom was huge.
Hmm.
The practice area was wide open and you know, you just walk up and talk to anybody. They had a dedicated room for the Smash Bros players. Thank
Yep.
God.
Yep.
Get them away from me.
I remember that.
And I remember, yeah, the Yeti had a booth set up as well. It was like right along the way to the like you couldn't miss it. And then that
Oh
courtyard,
yeah, the
man, my
courtyard.
God.
Hmm.
Everybody has a story about the courtyard. It was a magical place where many friendships were kindled.
Yeah. What's funny about
Uh,
that event is it ended 2 days before my 21st.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, man.
it was like,
Uh,
and then COVID happened. So it was just like the
yeah, of
worst
course.
timing ever. But
Bro,
actually
we
it's
were making jokes. We were making jokes at that marathon of like, if anybody was like had a cough or was like seemed like they were getting sick, it's like, oh no, watch out, the new virus is gonna get you. Like we didn't know, we had no idea what it was gonna, because that was January 2020, right?
yeah.
So, um, there was like we had started hearing about it in the news around that time, but nobody thought it was going to be as impactful as it did.
Hmm.
But I just remember, I think my room was I roomed with Zallard that
Oh wow,
marathon.
yeah.
Yeah, because what
That
happened
was my
was a
favorite
bunch
run
of
of the event. Just
oh,
to
that
throw it
they're
off. Yeah,
blindfolded.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
nice. Yeah, no, we chatted quite a bit. We're still decently close because at this point, one of my good friends from Toronto was entering a relationship with one Rom Scout,
Hmm.
who some might know as the founder of SGDQ.
Yeah.
Just generally awesome guy, big one of those big old boy names in speedrunning. But he had hooked me up with because I didn't have a room going in, so he managed to find so I room with Zallard and I believe Half Coordinated was also
Oh,
in
nice.
that room. So got to meet them. But I think my personal favorite, and again, no bias here, but that was the marathon that had ZFG's 100% no source requirement run, which to this day I think is the best showcase of Ocarina of Time that's ever been done at any live event ever.
Mm.
That run was so good. It had all the best all the best tricks. It was like the perfect combination of what made that run so interesting. And I guess I can explain a little bit. Um, with OOT now, people hear about SRM, no, or SRM is stale reference manipulation, which is kind of the magic you can do anything glitch.
Yeah, like the
Um,
arbitrary code execution.
yeah, exactly. Um, and so back in like late 2019, early 2020, SRM was brand new, and we didn't know exactly how powerful it was going to be. So how it applies to NSR, no source requirement basically means it's 100%, but you can do whatever you want. You can glitch items into your inventory. You don't have to, in normal 100%, it's like you have to get the bow from the bow chest. You have to get hammer from the hammer chest. You have to get the Skulltulas legitimately. In NSR, you can like, oh, I can dupe Skulltulas. Okay, there, I have 100 right away. Oh, I need all the heart pieces. No, I'm just going to get the same one over and over again. And so you could do like stuff like reverse bottle adventure, glitches items in your inventory. Um, and so SRM, it's like this new, extremely powerful glitch that we don't know the parameters just yet of how powerful it is, but we know a lot about it already. So it had this sequence in Deku Tree where you boomerang a skull, you go through a door, you go all the way to the basement of Deku Tree, and you set it up perfectly, so perfectly that it makes it so the chest in the basement, you depending on like what your facing angle is or something like that, you can just manipulate it over and open it over and over again and get whole bunch of items just back to back. It's this incredibly complicated sequence that I think the whole thing is like 10 minutes long, and ZFG just nails it. He absolutely like does everything perfectly first try, all this complicated stuff over and over again. There's this beautiful moment where like he's falling down. He just done this like crazy sequence to set everything up. He's falling down to the basement of Deku Tree after like 5 minutes of setup, and then they're just like, all right, nice. He nailed it. Everything's going good. And he says, yeah, that's the end of phase one. And you're just like, oh my god, there's still so much more. I highly recommend going back and watching it because it's just so cool. Again, it's like the perfect intersection. It was like the sweet spot of like this glitch is powerful, but it's not powerful enough to just make the run trivial, right? Like there's still a lot you have to do. There's still a lot of like really advanced tech. It's not just I think NSR now is like I don't it's like 5 minutes or something. Like you just do an SRM setup and you get everything. But back then this was still like a 2-3 hour speed run, and the whole thing is just so technical, so impressive. And everything went well. Everything went according to plan. I was in the audience for it. I was still like a wee baby speedrunner when it came to like Ocarina of Time at this point. I was still, doing the Zeldathon thing, that whole crazy thing. Um, Actually, I can talk about that in a little bit because this is like in terms of the timeline, this is around the same time. But yeah, that GDQ run, I highly recommend people go back to watch it if you want to watch an Ocarina of Time speed run.
That event was
Um,
really good.
yes.
So
Oh my
much.
God.
There's so many
Do
good
you
stuff.
did you ever go to Super Saiyan? You
Yes, I did.
you go.
I, I didn't like it. Sorry.
Oh
I
yeah.
I think I just ordered the wrong thing. But yes, that was yeah. Everyone was talking about that, and I did go with the group, even though I
It
know
is
nothing about anime at all.
It is crazy because you have this convention full of these like nerdy, pedantic speedrunners who are just obsessed with Japanese culture, obsessed with anime, and you're telling me they have a ramen restaurant that's Dragon Ball Z themed? It's like, oh my
Mm,
God, how is this not like the most popular? And the funny thing is, I agree with you. My standards for ramen are actually really high.
mm.
Uh, I'm because I think the ramen here is really, really good. Not to like boast about my city or anything, but Toronto is kind of this like it's such a huge multicultural intersection of so many different backgrounds, and so the adage is no matter what kind of food you want to get from any culture, you're gonna find good food in Toronto. And ramen is no exception. There's a lot of lovely places you can get. Not to mention the fact that in 2019 I actually went to Japan.
Hmm,
So I had a taste for like, the real deal, the authentic thing. And so at this point my palate for ramen was pretty high. So going to
fair.
Super Saiyan, and it was definitely a letdown. It was
Mm,
more about the novelty than anything else. But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I wasn't into it, but God,
yeah,
those bowls were huge.
they were. Oh my God.
That was
And
wild.
I had my
I
first.
oh, sorry.
Good.
I was gonna change the subject, so
Okay, yeah. Well, I was gonna just mention that I had my first Waffle House experience at that GDQ because
oh,
we don't
okay.
have Waffle House, and that is,
Yeah.
I think
And you
what I
live
tell
to tell
people
the
is,
tale. That's
I
great.
know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I went at like 2 in the afternoon, and everyone's like, no, no,
Okay.
no, you gotta go 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is the true Waffle House experience. But yeah,
That's good. I was gonna bring up Miller's Ale House. Remember that?
Miller's. I don't think I went there
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Hmm.
Well, it was good stuff. They had like some basic chicken things I liked, whatever. I was very basic bitch back then, but
Okay,
I
fair enough.
ended up my family took a trip to Universal like a couple of years after that event,
Hmm.
and obviously the hotel was across the street, so I like
Right.
got a picture there and I had them go back there, and I had like the best alcoholic drink ever when I went
Oh,
there, but obviously I never knew about it when I
right.
went there the first time because I was underage, but now I'll
Hmm.
never have it again probably
Yeah,
because there's no
unfortunate.
reason to ever go to Florida. Anyway,
Well, the next GDQ's in Atlanta. That's close enough, right?
close
It's
enough.
only like a
I don't know.
5 hour drive.
I don't know how big the chain is, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of good
Um,
stuff um, down there, chain wise. So I'm interested. It'll be different.
yeah, I'm looking forward. I've only been to Atlanta once, so I'm excited to
Yeah,
experience it
I've
more
been there a
again.
lot. It's called where all of your connections end up being is
Oh yeah, of
Atlanta.
course. Yeah, it's a huge airport for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
a family friend does live in the area, so I've been there.
Hmm.
But I'm excited for this location because there's a lot of speedrunners I know that live in that area that can now like more easily attend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
So
there's a lot of people.
I'm
I knew a
interested
few
for a
people
change
who
of
were.
scenery,
Yeah,
especially far less cold. I'm okay with
yeah.
that.
I know a couple people who are local to Pittsburgh who were a little sad
Yeah,
to see it go away, but I think we understand that Pittsburgh in January is
yeah,
not the locale that I think people think about when they think about vacations.
yeah. Pittsburgh's cool, but
Mhm.
it's way too cool
Yeah,
in January.
yeah. Are you I'm guessing you might be a little bit more living a more temperate climate or
I'm St. Louis
St.
area,
Louis? Okay.
so
About the same. The Midwest can get kind of
yeah, it's not it doesn't the colds aren't as bad. But when
mhm,
it is cold, oh god. What we have are tornadoes. Like I
mhm.
just went through like my fifth tornado warning in the past 2 months. It's great. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's what's fun.
that's yeah, we don't have tornadoes, thankfully, but people like to make the joke that Canada's, always cold and frozen.
Mm.
Brother, it's going up to like 110 this week. Like it
Well,
is,
yeah,
and
but it's fucking atrocious everywhere right now in terms of
yeah.
heat. So,
But yeah, it's I did enjoy the fact that GDQ was driving distance for me. It was about a 6 hour drive from
mm,
Toronto to Pittsburgh. So that part was nice. Having a car at the GDQ was nice, but
that sounds
it's
like a
it's
fun drive too.
yeah, it's well in January it's not
Well,
great,
okay,
but
yeah, maybe not January. Yeah, I keep forgetting the time, but like otherwise, sounds like the drive
yeah,
would be nice.
it's not bad. And actually, I mentioned earlier that Zeldathon used to be located in Western Pennsylvania. Uh, we used to have to be pretty secretive about the location because it wasn't a public event, but this is all public knowledge now, so I'm not like doxing anybody by saying this.
Hmm.
So MC's from a small town along I-79 called Meadville. If you ever drive down to Pittsburgh that way, you'll pass the sign for Meadville. That is where Zeldathon has its roots. Was
Mm,
just MC's house in Meadville. He doesn't live there anymore. He lives in Virginia, so like a little bit off. But so I would go to Meadville, which again is like a 4 or 5 hour drive for me. And then we upgraded. We moved to the big city of Erie, Pennsylvania.
mm,
Wow. It's about an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh. But again, it's like close enough to me that I was able to drive. So that's a very nostalgic drive for me. was, driving down, cross into Buffalo, drive west on I-90. Oh my God, I love that drive because there's so many good memories, so many good road trips. And every time I got to go to GDQ in Pittsburgh, I was like, I remember this. This is just bringing up so many good memories. So
So you go by Niagara Falls on that
yeah,
route? Yeah,
so
that's cool.
there's a bridge to Niagara Falls, but actually you drive a little bit past it and you
Yeah.
cross right into like downtown Buffalo is usually the more preferable route.
Yeah, but if you want to take a small detour, you can.
Yeah, I mean get the scenic route.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss that, but it's time to move on. Nothing is forever. But it's interesting that Western Pennsylvania has kind of become like a second home for me. There's just so many good memories of that. I would go down to Erie on my own, just to visit friends, and it was like this seems kind of random, like a random spot, but it's definitely cherish a lot of memories there, so I'm not gonna forget it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's fun. Yeah, I've been all over now because of speed running. There's
of
so many
course.
events now.
I know,
But
right? Trying to think what else. Yeah, I think in terms of events like pre-COVID, the only other thing I did that was like adjacent to this was getting to attend the St. Jude Summit because being so active in Zeldathon, a little bit more hands-on with the with charity fundraising, which I've continued to do. Like every May, I'll do a set of streams for St. Jude, and I had the privilege of being invited to their annual streamer summit
mm,
a couple of times. And so I went in 2019. So it's the St. Jude campus in Memphis, Tennessee. It's my first time in the true American South. Get to
mhm.
experience that.
You get to see the
But
pyramid, the Great
yeah,
American Pyramid.
dude, that place is as a non-American coming in, the Canadian perspective, that place is like it's like such cognitive dissonance. It's like this is like I'm not used to this kind of wild culture.
Hmm.
But yeah, Memphis is a really cool city, and St. Jude is such a wonderful, wonderful cause. I got to meet a lot of cool speedrunners, so I'm still doing that today. I just finished up last month. I did another fundraiser for St. Jude, so I hope I'll be able to get back to their campus again soon because it's a huge gathering of a bunch of different streamers and online personalities.
Yeah.
But that was yeah, that was
Well,
I think everything up to COVID was yeah, Zeldathon, St. Jude, and then just starting to get my foot in the door of a GDQ. And then of course COVID happened, which
mm,
it was a huge I think so many people had certain trajectories in their lives that just got completely overhauled because of that. I had all these trips planned for 2020, it was going to be a big year for me and then oh, I guess I'm not going anywhere. Cool.
yeah.
So I started stream like at 2020, I like really started to grind Twitch, grind my stream a little bit more. Um, right around that time, actually let's back up a bit because the most recent I talked about how I did the Zeldathon into GDQ kind of combination there. That Zeldathon, I planned out a 100% run of Majora's Mask,
Mm,
where basically said like, okay, we're not really doing glitches or anything, but I want to see if I can fit this into like under 10 hours, even just doing this with kind of a casual approach. And so I actually started watching. This is really when I started playing like the Zelda 64 games more seriously. So I watched real glitchless speedruns and actually learned some tech and skips and all that stuff. And I came up with a route all on my own, which is it's not very good. It still took me like 9 hours, but
mm,
um it was a lot of fun and it really taught me like, oh, this is actually something I want to do a little bit more seriously rather than just play the games fast casually, right? And so at GDQ, one of the people who I watched with their speedruns to learn the game was a speedrunner named Trev Person,
mm,
who he was actually hosting a glitchless race, a glitchless any percent race at the GDQ in one of the practice rooms. And I'm like, well, I have I don't have my Wii here, but I can rent the N64 from I think it was World 9, right?
mm.
So I rented an N64 and did it. The run was terrible, but it was so cool to just be in that room and playing this thing of like racing a speed run and comparing, looking over. It's like, oh, this other person is about the same as me. This person's way ahead of me. Okay, that must be really good. Oh, look, Trev's already done. Okay, cool. I guess I've got some catching up to do. But So that was like the first like true speed run I did of Majora's Mask was that glitchless run at that GDQ 2020. So that was an interesting little origin for me. And I said, okay, this is great. I'm going to pick this up and do this more seriously. Um, Around the same time, around the time that like COVID happened, I was starting to just do like casual randomizers for the charity stuff I was doing at the time. And what midstream, literally midstream, that I was doing one of these randomizers, I get a ping in the Majora's Mask Discord. Hey, we are running a tournament for this randomizer. It's starting up next month, and it's free to join, free to enter, any skill level. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let's give this a shot and see what happens. And yeah, for whatever reason, 2020, I had a lot of free time on my hands. Surprise, surprise.
Hmm.
So I went pretty hard grinding the randomizer and learning all the tech. And as it turns out, the randomizer rule set is mostly glitchless. It's stuff that I had already learned from this run that I did at Zeldathon just a few months ago. And yeah, because it was 100%, like I knew a lot of the tech, a lot of the skips already. So I was like, okay, this is actually like something I might be able to be good at. Despite the fact that there are people who've been playing the randomizer for years, there's a lot of theory and routing and logic and all this nonsense that I had no idea about. But I managed to qualify for the brackets. It was like I think I managed to make the last spot, the 24th spot in the bracket, just barely made it in, and I'm like, okay, well that's cool. I made a name for myself. That proved that I'm kind of okay, just despite starting this like a couple months ago. And that kind of became my life during
Hmm.
COVID. A lot of people know me pretty much exclusively as a randomizer player. Because that's basically what I do in my streams now, is a lot of Majora's Mask randomizer stuff. So I continue to play it, and then that kind of went hand in hand with learning Ocarina of Time randomizer, which is an even larger community and an even more competitive one. But I met so many amazing people through this, and I got really, really good. And thank God for these people, because um, at this point in COVID, my wife was still in Sweden. We were still working on immigration at that point. So I was basically on my own. I didn't have a lot of people around me. Both of my roommates had moved out at this point. So I was just on my own. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just sitting in a Discord call with a bunch of randomizer players every night
Hmm.
and just talking about the game, practicing new stuff, helping each other get better. And it really did become my life for a long time, and it still is. And I ended up being a moderator for the randomizer community for a number of years. Um, and again, especially because I had a lot of free time on my hands during COVID, it really did help to integrate myself in this community. And it really did help, not just for learning that, because randomizer and speedrunning kind of go hand in hand. There's a lot of the same tricks that you would do in a speedrun can be applied to randomizer and vice versa. So I continued to do that and established myself as a very middle of the pack Zelda 64 runner by the time the pandemic was starting to lighten up a little bit. And I was starting to be able to go to events again. But this really was like the big thing for me. I'm trying to think what else, if there's anything else significant. I remember the first event I went back to after the pandemic had started was MomoCon in 2022. I think that's 2022. Yeah. That was the one time I was in Atlanta. I'd mentioned that earlier. And that was like the first time I was like doing Zeldathon had this event set up where we literally had a stage in the middle of the convention floor where we
Hmm.
were doing speed runs and challenge runs, raising money for charity at the event, like at a live event, which is cool. I'd never like done a run in front of a live audience before. It had just been, the Zeldathon cronies that, I asked to be on my couch. Zeldathon was a private event. We didn't have public audience, and I'd never done a GDQ run. So this was my first time doing it in front of people, and it was not to mention the fact this is my first time traveling since COVID. So like it was very weird, but it was a lot of fun. And that was I think I did a run of OOT, defeat Ganon, which is about 20 minutes, and then Majora's Mask, defeat Majora, which is about 40 minutes, And then I did a GSR run that went way over estimate, but it's okay. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, that was really cool, and I'm glad that I was able to show off what I had learned for the 2 years that I was basically shut in. I'm sure a lot of speedrunners have a similar story in that, like, oh, this was my, my COVID vice, or like this is the game I picked up and kind of never put down. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up most of how I dealt with the pandemic with randomizers and stuff.
Yep. Got to do something to occupy the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, but this has led to a lot of other things too. Um, and we'll tie into some of the other things that I've been doing as of late. Um, there's not just GDQs, but there's a couple other events that I've attended. I got to go to the St. Jude Summit again, as I mentioned. There's actually a speedrun event in Montreal. We'll give a shout out to called No Reset.
Hmm.
They run twice a year. It is again, it's in Montreal, and it's kind of like small scale GDQ. Like they really do try to make it feel like a GDQ, but it's a little bit more intimate because I think the attendance list, it's about 1,000 people
Oh
who
wow,
go in total. Um,
that's pretty impressive.
and yeah, it's and it's been going on for 10 years, which is
Damn.
kind of wild because I have not heard of them until a couple years ago. But again, I do enjoy doing road trips to events. Like I had done that with the Pittsburgh GDQs, but No Reset is Montreal is about a 5 hour drive for me. And it's also, I will say, as a Canadian, it is so refreshing to not have to cross the border to go to an event.
Yeah.
That is a godsend. It is because that's kind of just like you accept this is part of it. It's going to delay your trip. You always have to worry about like, oh, I'm telling the border agent like I'm going to a video game convention, and they're just going to look at you like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
um, this didn't happen to me, but it happened to a friend where he got pulled aside for extra questioning at an airport going he was a Canadian going to the US, and they pulled him aside and they saw he had like, his consoles and controllers and all that. It's like, what's all this technology? It's like, are you like, what are you planning to do? It's like, it's a video game convention. And they took one look at him and say, yeah, you look like a gamer.
What
And
the fuck?
that is like, I can't believe they just said that. You look like a gamer. Like, first of all, what an insult. Second of all, what does that even mean?
That
Uh,
that's funny because the one time I've ever been when you go through security and your bags get scanned, the only time one of the people came up to me and they saw my consoles and they're like, "What, are you going to GDQ or something?" And I was like,
no way.
"Well, let me tell you."
Yeah, you got me. You got me.
So, shout
Um,
out to that guy, I guess. He was
yeah,
a
I
big
guess.
fan of the Bone Saw run, so.
Oh, nice. Oh, that the Jack and Daxter run? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
classic.
yeah, yeah.
Um, that's the only other time that's happened to me. This wasn't for a GDQ run. This is for a Smash tournament that I went to. It was called the Big House. It's no
Mhm.
longer a thing. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But it was the closest major that wasn't the one that was in Toronto. So it's just a 5 hour drive to Detroit. But Detroit it's just right across the border. So on our way back, I guess there were a lot of Canadians who came to this event and crossed the border back. So we say like, "Oh yeah, we were at a video game tournament," and he looks at us and says, "Smash Bros." And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So like we figure like,
Hmm.
oh, he must have seen like dozens of people were already doing this. And then the one thing he says to us, "You guys win any money?" And we're all like,
What do you
"Yeah,
think?
none of us are that good. None of us are top players. Like, there's no money in Smash to begin with."
Yeah, like, I was gonna say,
Uh,
even the top players aren't making money there.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, no, we all busted out. And then he basically like kind of gave us a look of just like, come on, you guys, how do you travel for an event and you don't even win any money? Like, what are you doing? um, but
I
yeah,
just
that's
don't
it. You always,
understand.
I know. You always roll the dice when it comes to crossing the border. But
Mm,
I've done it enough times that I know how to answer quick and succinctly and give them exactly the information they need and can just move on.
yeah.
And
I've never been to Canada, so,
have you never been to Canada?
no.
Okay. Well,
I'm not opposed to it, but
yeah.
just
I mean, let me know. I'll let you know depending on where you go.
yeah.
It's funny because I'm not saying you're doing this, but like I've heard this before where Americans will be like, "Oh, hey, I'm in Canada. Do you want to see me?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. Like, where are you staying?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm in Vancouver."
Yeah,
What are
I
you
don't
talking
know.
about? Yeah.
I don't know what they're expecting there, but
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's the second largest. It's larger than the U.S. A lot of people don't
y-
realize. When I've
it's the
talked to
second
Americans,
largest country in the world by
yes, yeah, it
landmass.
is. Yeah,
Granted, most
and
people don't live in like 99% of it, but still,
yeah, it's
it is long at least where
a lot
people
of it is
live.
just snow. Um, but I've met so many people who are just like, "Oh, yeah, Canada's just a small little bit of like land above New York, like that's it," and they think it's tiny, but no, it is a very long and
Yeah.
diverse country. So, but anyway, it's what I found is that it culturally it's a lot similar than I think both Americans and Canadians are willing to admit. But there are like the subtle differences that I pick up and notice on, and I'm just like, okay, well, this is stuff that I prefer it my way, and the Americans are like, well, I prefer it my way too. So I'm like, yeah,
Well,
fair enough. Anyway, I hope I'm not. I'm going to be doing this literally 1 week from today. I'm going to be crossing the border to attend the next SGDQ.
yeah.
So I'm hopefully not eating my words here by saying, I usually know what to do with the border crossing, but it should be fine. It should be fine.
Well, time
Um,
will tell.
yeah. So as far as no reset goes, that's it's another event that I've been starting to go to and make friends with as well. I did get to do a run last marathon, which was it was a MM bingo run. Bingo is it's a speed run format. I'm sure plenty of games have it, but just for anyone who might not be in the loop, you're given this like bingo board 5 by 5, and the squares have goals that you need to do. And so generally you want to clear a full row, like pick which row is best, and then do that as fast as possible using glitches at your disposal to try and clear the bingo board as fast as possible. And so that's what I did. It was a lot of fun, and it was my first like true marathon run that I've ever done, where you've had to submit and get selected. So I finally got to do that thanks to No Reset. I'm still submitting for GDQs. I'm hoping eventually I can get Majora's Mask Rando in, but we'll see. That'll be someday, I hope.
Mm.
And then maybe if I want to compete with like every other person on planet Earth, I can learn to speedrun the OOT remake that's coming out later this year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to be that's going to be quite something. But we could talk about that in a little bit later.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually have a question about No Reset then. If
okay.
it's in Montreal, is it like French speaking?
Yeah, so it is a bilingual event.
Okay.
Montreal is it's a very much a bilingual city. Most of Quebec is French speaking only, but Montreal you can usually get by speaking English.
Okay.
So when you submit the run, you specify, will I do the run in English or French? And so you'll get a mix of both. You'll get people coming from, Toronto, Ottawa, stuff like that, who only speak English, and they'll submit runs. But then you'll have people like actually one run that was done at the most recent No Reset was Void
Hmm.
doing Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it was the same run that Void did a couple months earlier at GDQ, where he commentated in English, and then he did the same run but commentated in French at No Reset, which was really cool. The fact that, I mean, he's bilingual, so he's able to do the run in either language.
Yeah, that's
Me
sick.
though, I only speak English,
Yeah.
so that's what I did. But yeah, I mean, I think Montreal is just one of the coolest cities on planet Earth. Don't let anybody else here in Toronto hear me. Let me hear them, or excuse me. Don't let them hear me say that, because we're supposed to be rival cities, but no, Montreal is such a cool city.
No, I've heard a lot of
Um,
cool things. I took
yeah.
French in like, school a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Not that I'm any good at it, but yeah, they talk about Montreal a lot because,
Yeah,
it's like the primary or Quebec overall because it's like the primary French speaking area in the like North America.
exactly. Yeah. It's I highly recommend, if you do end up ever traveling to Canada. This is not just for you, but for anybody who's thinking about visiting Canada, I highly recommend checking out Montreal. Is such a nice city. Um, as long as you don't drive. Driving there
Yeah.
is kind of crazy, but everything else about the city is great. Um,
I can name
and
that
yeah,
for most American cities to not drive,
yeah.
so it's probably
Mhm.
business as usual.
It is okay. Here's a fun Canada fact. Nothing to do with speedrunning,
Mm.
but fun Canada fact. Normally in North America, it is legal to turn right on a red light.
Yes.
That's just a thing you can do.
Hmm.
Montreal, the island of Montreal, is the one place in Canada where it is illegal to do so, and that
Oh,
is entirely because the driving situation there is crazy. The roads are we don't have to get into it, but it is a statement of how wild it is to drive in Montreal.
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Your fun Canada fact for the podcast. Um, the other thing, like I was trying to think with no reset is it's it's right near the airport too, which is really nice. Often what happens with events is, you fly into the airport, it's like, all right, we're ready to do the event. And oh, it's like a 30-40 minute Uber to actually get to the hotel, right?
Mm.
Or, an hour on transit or whatever. This event is literally like next door to the airport. It's like you could walk if you wanted to. So it's super cool for anybody who wants to travel. So I again highly recommend if anybody is interested in visiting Montreal and they love speedrun marathons, give No Reset a ponder. It is so cool. It's such a nice intimate experience compared to the large scale GDQ. And if you're going and you don't know anybody, let me know. I will I will happily integrate you into at least one English speaking friend group.
When does the event usually take place?
Yeah. So it runs typically it's March and September is
Mm.
when it happens. Usually like late March, and then this marathon it's during the Labor Day weekend. Yeah, September 4th to 6th. So it is the long weekend. It's a long weekend in Canada. It's a long weekend in the US. So
Yeah.
um, should be good.
Cool.
Um, Other than that, I'm trying to think what else. I guess going back to like kind of like post COVID era of what my journey's been like. Um, the first GDQ I went back to was GDQ 2023, SGDQ 2023, which I believe was like the first full in-person marathon since the pandemic.
They had
Uh,
one in 2022, but
oh yeah, okay, okay. So
because
the second,
it was the same hotel as SGDQ 2018 actually.
oh yeah, okay, back in Bloomington, nice.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it kind of just wasn't really ready to come back yet.
Oh,
It
okay, I
was
see.
really strict, but
Right.
and not the same vibe. But I was there anyway.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear it because I definitely did not go there. But 2023, I went, and this was my first time doing commentary ever
Mm,
for a GDQ run. So it was around this time that Spike Vegeta, friend of the stream, Spike Vegeta
mhm,
was picking up Majora's Mask Randomizer, and so I was kind of one of the people like guiding him and telling him, how to play the game and get better at it. And for some reason, he submitted it to GDQ and they accepted him. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I've got to help him a lot more
mhm.
learn this game. He seemed really shocked that they accepted that run, but he was ready to go. And he very casually asked me during one of his streams, like, "Hey, you want to be on my couch?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I would be honored to do that." So got to do that with Kiara was on the couch as well, and one of my friends from the randomizer community just randomly decided to. She was just like, "I want to come to GDQ for a couple days, just see what it's all about. Fly in." She's from the other end of the country. She's also Canadian, but like not anywhere close to me.
Yeah.
So she just flew in, and while I'm watching Spike practice in the practice room and helping him out, he's like, there's an open spot on the couch. If you know anybody who even remotely knows anything about Rando, like I'm happy to have them on the couch. I'm like, let me tell you about this girl.
Mhm.
Her Twitch name is Gothic Zelda. She does like the max settings, like as much as you can do with the randomizer, just like turn on every single thing that you can possibly shuffle, all the like crazy like shuffling actors and stuff like that. This is her bread and butter. So if there's anybody who's qualified to talk about Rando, it is her. So we had this nice like, you know, in the process, it's like, hey, I know you're like packing to go to GDQ, your first GDQ, just see what it's about. Do you want to be on couch for commentary for Rando?
Mm.
And of course, super happy to do so. So the three of us did a wonderful job on that couch, and it was very eye-opening, I guess, because again, I'd never been in that position before, even just doing commentary for GDQ. But it was a lovely time.
Hmm. That event
Uh,
was the first time I did a like on stage GDQ run.
oh, there you go.
So
Nice. What run was that?
that was my one-handed warpless, you know,
Oh,
the
nice.
the, the good one.
Yeah, love it. One-handed is crazy, and that's
Yep.
SMB one, right?
Oh yeah.
SMB. Okay. That's oh my God, I can't imagine doing anything
That's still
one-handed.
the greatest speed run, live speed run I've ever done. I don't think I'll
Nice.
ever beat it.
Love it.
So
There you go. I'll
a
have
lot
to
of
go
good
back and
memories of that GDQ specifically for me. Plus, there's just a lot of great content
oh
that day.
yeah. Yeah, it was very fun. And then so I went to that, and then it was around this time that yeah, this is the other thing I wanted to get into. Um so I talked about Zeldathon, and Zeldathon did kind of come back post COVID, but there was a bit of a changing of the guard. MC, who I mentioned earlier, stepped down and passed on ownership to um, another community member who goes by Clinkit. And there's probably some people who are integrated in the GDQ sphere who recognize that name because she is also a staff member for GDQ now. She does a lot of like set building for them and stage assembly and stuff like that. She is one of the hardest working people I know, absolutely, like by far. Actually, I the most recent GDQ, I shared a room with her, and I like basically never saw her because she was
Hmm.
always off building sets or helping out wherever they needed an extra pair of hands, right? So, so she's the one who's running Zeldathon now, and I'm still a part of it. I'm doing a room. I'm not attending this marathon in person that's coming up next month, but I'll give them a small shout out here. Let me get the dates here. If you feel like I should know that. Yeah, July 19th. July 19th at 4 p.m. Zeldathon on Twitch is their next event. It's called Super Zeldathon,
Mm.
Super Nintendo themed. So of course I will be playing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Yeah, makes
Uh,
sense.
yeah, so I'll be doing a remote run there. So be sure to check that out. But anyway, the old owners of Zelothon, the old directors, decided to branch out a little bit and start doing more specialized events as part of a series called Coliseum.
Hmm.
So there's a couple of this. They had Throne Controllers Coliseum, which I believe is retired now, but that was Throne Controllers, formerly the Runaway Guys. So that kind of collective of people.
Yep.
They have Kaizo Coliseum, which you may have heard of this because there's a lot of
Yeah.
Mario runners who attend that. So that's hosted by Pooh, who yeah, I think they do it for his charity now, which is Wings for Life, or the charity that he's a part of because of Red Bull.
Yeah.
And I think that's their kind of their flagship event now. We should be hearing about this year's event soon, I'd have to imagine.
Hmm.
But the one that I'm a part of, slash, I'm not sure if it's coming back, but
Yeah.
there was a couple years of Speedrun Coliseum. So I got to attend a couple of those. And that was primarily Spike Vegeta's event.
Hmm.
And again, it's a little bit more focused of an event than something like Zeldathon, where it's just one weekend and it's the specifically streamers who are invited, asked to come and be a part of it. So I think the first time I went, big names like Void was there. Who else? I'm trying to remember. Like Kung Fu Fruitka, Bird. Um, I
Danger,
think who else?
Supersonic, Ada.
Dangers was there. Supersonic, ADEF, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Parky
watched, don't worry.
and yeah, yeah. Parky and Aggie were there for the first one. Uh, I believe they found more of their calling in Kaizo, but they were there for the first Speedrun Coliseum.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then um, there was what was it? The second one, I think they added a couple people like Majin Phil was there. I Ate Your Pie was there. A lot of like really big names in the speedrun scene. Um, and that was around the time that I was like starting to like take YouTube a little bit more seriously. Not take it seriously, but like try to upload a video every now and then again because I'd largely ignored my YouTube channel for a long time. And so this was around the time that like we were figuring out the stuff for Blue Dog. Because what had happened was the glitch for I guess I can get into a little. There's a glitch in the dog race at Majora's Mask that allows the dogs to win early, and it was like, oh, this is how the blue dog can actually win. So I uploaded a video in 2022, end of 2022, that was just like, hey, this is potentially possible. Let's see if we can get a win with blue dog. And then it took a couple years, but we kind of worked towards making it happen. And then Falkish, again, shout out to the guy who really made it happen, messaged me a couple years later in like middle of 2024 to be like, hey, I think this can happen. And then he did get it to happen. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to make a video for this. And I remember just starting to work on that video as I attended the second Speedrun Coliseum, and I was, telling people like, oh, maybe this could be a big deal. It'd be neat to, tell the whole story, and not really knowing how big it was going to be. And then I put the video together, uploaded it at the end of December, less than a month after this event, and it instantly popped off.
Mm-hmm.
And no small part thanks to a couple of names retweeted it early on, which I think gave it a lot of exposure. So like I mentioned, Majin Phil was at that event, so he gave it a retweet on his Twitter, and ZFG as well, who I had been talking to for a little bit at this point. Um, he also retweeted. So it's like I got the Majin Phil retweet, I got the ZFG retweet, and from there the algorithm just kind of like did its job, and this video like went absolutely like skyrocketed,
Boy, what a job it
unbelievable.
did.
Yeah. It's and then it got like Moist Critical. Dude, Moist Critical reacted to that video on my birthday. My
Uh,
birthday is December 30th, I mentioned earlier. And
okay.
I was out to dinner. I was out for like a birthday dinner with my friends, and I just started getting like I got like 5 Discord messages of people being like, "Yo, Moist Critical did a video on you," which out of context, the words Moist Critical put a video out about you is the most terrifying sentence you could ever hope to hear, because he often does like huge takedowns. But then I look, it's like, oh no, it's him reacting to Blue Dog and praising it. So that was I literally went nonverbal for like 15 minutes just trying to process what was happening. I think then that was when I really realized I was like, oh, this is just, this is something special. Like the video is bigger than me at this point. It's I,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
You know what's funny is if I had a nickel for every time Moist Critical reacted to someone's video about a blue object that I've had on my podcast, I've had 2 nickels, which isn't a
Oh
lot,
yeah.
but it's weird that it's happened twice. Because
Who's the other nickel? I gotta
Wii
know.
Super with the stud in Lego Star Wars that's
Oh
hard
yes.
to collect. I think it's a blue stud though, so
Right. That is so funny.
so yeah,
Um
it's just funny how
this is
a perfect use of the meme.
of course,
I
yeah.
had to shout it out.
The nickel meme. Yeah. Shout outs, of course. And actually, and this is kind of topical because we just had Deltarune Chapter 5
Ah.
released earlier this week. And there is something that I'm not sure,
Oh,
but I'm
yeah.
pretty sure is a Blue Dog reference
Mhm.
in the game. It's like very early on. It's not a spoiler, it's just like a little side section.
I
But
saw
there's
the
there's
social media post, yeah.
yeah, so for those who didn't see it, there's like a racetrack. When right at the beginning of the chapter, there's this racetrack where there's these 3 or 4 NPCs who are racing around a track, and one of the NPCs is a black box with a blue top on it. Like it's like the same exact shade of blue that Blue Dog is. And in the race, that box is like way slower than the other two. There's 2 guys who are like betting money every race, and they're like cheering. They have like dollar bills in their hand. And as soon as one of the other 2 NPCs finishes the race, they switch to being sad. So it's
Mm.
clear that they're betting on the blue one, who is way slower than everyone else. And I'm like Toby and Temmie have seen the video. They tweeted about it, or blue skeeted, whatever the term
Blue
is.
skeeted.
They have seen the video, which saying that alone, Toby Fox watched my video is like I can't believe it. Like, but I'm floored that there would be something that would allude to something that I helped to create in a game that's very important to me. So yeah, it is it's quite surreal.
Yeah,
Um
Blue Dog's a big deal.
yeah, I know. And this was a really special time in my life, like late 2024, 25, because about a month earlier, like right before Speedrun Coliseum, I had actually been asked by ZFG to couch for his upcoming rando run at AGDQ 2025.
Mm.
Um, and so a lot of people thought that ZFG had asked me to couch for him specifically because of the Blue Dog video. And that's not true. He had asked me before I had even like told him that what was happening. So it just so happened that I uploaded this video a week before the run was going to happen. So everyone's like, oh my God, the Blue Dog guy's on the couch. Yeah, oh my God. We literally had a joke of like, give me a dollar for every time someone brings up the video, because that was literally every single interaction I had at that GDQ.
Guilty
Was
as
the first thing
charged.
was like, yeah, and it's not a bad thing. I'm just glad that people were thanking me for it. But it was literally every first interaction was like, I'm so happy for you, like the video's doing so well, I loved it. And I'm like, I'm grateful that people were people had watched it, and you know
Yeah, I
said
just
said
went,
nice
"Oh,
things
Blue
about it.
Dog guy."
It's him. And now it's yeah, that's kind of how I have to introduce myself, because I'm not like a huge speedrunner. I'm a average size Twitch streamer, and I only upload about three videos a year on YouTube. So like I'm not like super in the public consciousness as far as content creators go. But as soon as I bring up that video, they're like, "Oh yeah, of course, I didn't know what that is," and we can have the conversation there. But I've never been like one to that, like streaming content creation, that's not the hustle for me at all. It's a nice little side hobby. But for me, if things ever become about the numbers, and like thinking about like, oh, I have to think about my view count or my sub
Mhm.
count, or like how my video is doing, as soon as it becomes about the numbers for me, it becomes work, and then it doesn't become fun anymore for me.
Yeah,
So
that's
for me,
fair.
I'm perfectly happy to have this as the side gig to the quote unquote real job that a lot of people have to do. But it's still really nice to see a little bit of success in that department. And I do have a couple of videos planned for later this year, but it is a very slow process. I work at my own pace, and I'm comfortable working at that pace, even if it means I'm not going to be uploading, on a monthly schedule or anything like that. But
Yeah, that's fair. It's honestly the best way to go about it is to do it in the way that makes it the most fun for you, the creator.
yeah,
So,
exactly. I don't want to get myself into a position where I'm stressing about like, oh, this video did really poorly, so now I'm having ice soup for dinner every night. It's like,
I
God,
see.
I can't be
Yeah.
doing that, right?
Mhm.
That's just not for me. But I'm so unbelievably grateful that I've been given these opportunities to, attend events, and to, talk to people who are big in these spaces, and make connections that way, and have these opportunities to do speed runs and do my own thing, and show off what I think is cool about them. Um, and occasionally, some people will want to listen to a story I want to tell, because at the end of the day, that's kind of like where I see myself as a person in the YouTube space, as a storyteller more than anything else. I want to be able to take something that I think is interesting and express why it's interesting, and have other people understand, and maybe have some level of connection to it as well. Um, it's always been kind of what I've been good at. I know, there's things like I can't write to save my life. I can't do graphic design or anything like that. So as far as like the bigger videos that I have planned, I pay someone else to edit my scripts, because like I barely passed like creative writing
Mm.
in school. I almost failed art in elementary school. It's like, how do you do that? Like, I just have like no artistic talent whatsoever. So, I pay someone else to make the thumbnails for me, and I do think it makes a big difference.
Mhm.
Um, I've shown before. You look at the thumbnail for the Blue Dog video, for example. It's a great thumbnail. Really simple, really eye-catching. It was made by my friend Rihanna, or Gallery, I believe is what she goes by. Um, I had made my own thumbnail, and I posted in my Discord, and just be like, "Hey, what do you guys think? This look good." and she made that thumbnail as a joke, just being like, "This is like the ultra clickbait, like
Hmm.
memetic, like this is what the YouTuber clip thumbnail is going to look like." And then I looked at it, and I'm like, "Wait, this is actually fire. Can I use
I'm
this
using
instead
it.
of my own?"
And it
So it's so
worked.
so funny to me that that thumbnail was just a shit post that she
Hmm.
had made, and I'm like, no, this is actually your shit post is better than my earnest attempt at making something eye drawing and catchy. Because like I go back, I still have that original thumbnail saved on my computer, and it is awful. Like I look at, I'm like, it is night and day compared to the one that we ended up going with. And so now I pay Ree to make my thumbnails. So I'm like, I can't do this. This is not something that I have the talent to do.
Well,
Um,
they know what they're doing, clearly.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, they've seen enough thumbnails to know what they're doing and have the graphic design chops to back it up.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this the rando run that happened right after was just so nice. That was my first time like meeting ZFG in person. Like Uh, I had seen him at GDQ 2020, but like he had no idea who I was at all. And I was like, oh, I just recognize you as like the Ocarina of Time guy. But throughout COVID, you know, we had started talking and we were actually like, you know, close friends now. So it was really cool. That GDQ had such a high presence of MM speedrunners. Uh, they had a suite, like a hotel suite that we were all just hanging out with the whole time. Like there's Pope Squidward, Human Protractor, Jess, who else was there? There's other people I'm forgetting. Like Spittle was there. He's an Ocarina of Time player, but he was hanging out with the MM people. Nina Zoo, who's like a newer runner in the MM sphere, but she just managed to get partner earlier this year. So congrats to her. So like all these people I was able to meet and talk with for the first time, and Jess I had actually met from Rando, MM Rando. He was a Rando runner for a long time, and now he's one of the best MM players on the planet. Uh, it's kind of a callback to what I said with the first GDQ I went to. You go in knowing one person, and they can just show you everything.
Hmm.
And Jess was kind of that for the MM community who was there, and we had such a good time. And then you know we integrated ZFG into our little group, and then I think it was like Thursday, Friday, most of the MM people had left, but at the same time, all the OOT people started coming around that time. So we did this transition where we just started hanging out with the OOT players instead. And that was kind of how we capped off the marathon. And I still think, like, I look at AGDQ 2020, great marathon. I look at SGDQ 2018, my first one, that had a lot of fun. But I think AGDQ 2025, purely for getting to vibe with all the MM gamers and then the OOT gamers, and the fact that I got the couch for ZFG, that is like by far my favorite GDQ that I've ever been, was AGDQ 2025.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it was in frigging Pittsburgh and it was so cold. Oh my God. But
Yeah. I've been to so many events now that I can't really
mhm.
remember like what's my favorite, and I don't like to like tier list it anyway, but in
Oh yeah,
terms
yeah.
of like the GDQ content, like the games list and everything, I think AGDQ 2025 is still the best schedule they've ever had, in
Dude,
my opinion.
you look that entire last like 16 hours
Oh
of
my
that
god.
marathon was just banger after banger
Yes.
after banger because it like there was like the what was the Emerald run that was really good, the Pokemon Emerald run. They had the Sax Dark Souls
Mhm.
run. It was right before GDQ. The you know the ZFG Rando run. You're biased, but that was a really good run too. And then they ended off with what was it, Echoes of Wisdom, and then what was the final run after that? I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look. But oh, it was 8F, right? 8F or no, that was the most
No.
recent one. Here, let me go back and look
God,
at the schedule.
I should know this, but I'm blanking too. I know it wasn't, or was it Mario RPG? No, that was SGDQ.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the
Shit.
schedule here. I'm gonna pull up the schedule. We're gonna go through it together and just reminisce over because I agree with you completely. I remember just
Well,
noting that
there
that
was
was
Crazy Taxi. That was big.
yes. Oh yes, the live band. We completely forgot
But
about
yeah,
that.
that wasn't the
Okay,
last one.
here we
Yeah, it
go.
was right after.
So it started at about 11:30. It was
Oh, it
Orest,
was Super
uh,
Metroid, I think.
Super Metroid, right, right. The map rando, the
Yeah,
four-way
yeah,
map
yeah, yeah.
rando, right. So I have
That's
the
it.
schedule
That's it.
here
That's
now.
it.
Yeah. So it was ORAS, Any% race, Elden Ring, Lockout Bingo,
Mhm.
uh, then the Sax Showcase.
Yep.
Then it was the Crazy Taxi live bat with the band. And I remember we were setting up for the OT Rando as the live band was playing. And like, first of all, we could barely hear what the tech was saying in the headsets,
Yeah.
but we got it done. And they said like, "All right, you guys are good. We're just gonna wait for the band to finish up." And so they're like, "If you guys want to like, be part of the crowd, you can go ahead." And
The
so I
mosh
took off
pit,
the
yeah.
headset, yeah, and I went into the dude, I went into the mosh pit and I wreaked havoc, bro.
I remember. I
I
was
had
there.
I have a little bit of a history of I've went to a lot of punk shows when I was growing up. So like I know my way around a mosh pit. And so there was one song where I just said like I started singing like everybody would start a circle pit, and I mean it wasn't a circle pit by punk show standards, but it was people running around in a circle, and the chat was recognized. Oh my God, there's a real mosh pit at GDQ, which is
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a
Um,
vibe. I was
that was
I wasn't in the
awesome.
pit, but I was in the room, and oh my god, that was
I'm
something.
so happy they were able to, because logistically knowing, my 10 plus years of going to events and knowing how these things go, that is a logistical nightmare. And the fact that they
Mm,
made it work and there were no like hiccups or anything like that is a testament to just how much work that the GDQ staff is putting into you know, to make these things happen and to put on an entertaining show.
mhm. But yeah, oh my god, that schedule. I got 2 runs in that event. I was
Oh yeah,
yeah, I
nice.
was feeling good. But more importantly, I was happy what those runs were because they weren't just me. It was like they showcased the Mario 1 community and specifically the guy that makes the race tech where he combines all
Hmm.
the things onto one screen, and being able to
Right.
have that at GDQ was just so good. And
Yeah, no
then
kidding.
the Nintendo World Championships four-way thing we did. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was, I remember the World Championships one was really, really fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Except I
sure that was the
completely sucked shit at one part,
mm.
but like it's fine.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that was the marathon that you and I first crossed paths as well.
Probably.
I'm fairly certain.
I mean, yeah. I've branched out a lot more since I started going.
Yeah,
Um
which is great.
because yeah, now I'm the guy since you keep mentioning I'm now the guy that like I've gotten friends to go for the first time and then I introduce them to everyone.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
So
Um,
I'm all about that life.
I'm looking at this schedule again, and yeah, the end with Echoes of Wisdom, which was like brand new at that
Hmm.
point. The game had just come out a couple months ago, and then the Super Metroid, the four-way race with like the 1 second
Yeah,
difference,
yeah. Oh my god.
which was absolutely wild. And they had my good friend Lana Rose, shout outs, hosting that marathon,
Hmm.
which was awesome. She had actually uh, road trip with me down from Toronto to the event, which was great. It was Hermie and Ryan Ford, another
Yep.
GDQ staple,
Hmm.
who is going to be opening the
Yes.
marathon coming
Oh,
up,
I'm
which
so
is awesome.
happy.
Okay, I'm so happy Ryan is opening for yeah.
Yeah, I've had him on the show and we talked forever.
Oh
He's
yeah.
so cool. So
Mhm. And then I'm I went to GDQ again, or I went to SGDQ again last year. I have to say, like, it was a good marathon, but I'm just trying to remember what happened that marathon. I could not tell you a single thing that happened that marathon.
yeah. I mean
Um,
they had the Megas perform. That was interesting.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
I remember SGDQ more for like the fun I had rather than
Yeah,
like when I said HGDQ 2025, that had the best like schedule, the best content
right.
on the mainstream, which obviously if you go to the event, as you said earlier, that's like a secondary thing. So you're
Yeah,
not really thinking about that for your personal experience. But yeah, that's what I pull up when I think of like what was the best GDQ in terms of their content, and I think it was that one personally.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
SGDQ was fun too. They had a lot of good. They did have a lot of good stuff, but yeah, I didn't get any runs in, so I don't care.
yeah.
No. But no, they had some good stuff. Mario Odyssey, they had the two-player any
Oh,
percent.
right, right.
That was one of the best speedruns I've ever seen, just full stop.
Yeah.
Um, so and then I commentated Mario 3. That was really fun because that I think that was a finale day run.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, so I could definitely think of some good content, but yeah, I remember SGDQ 2025. That might have been like one of the better marathons for my like personal experience, I think,
Of
because I
course,
didn't
of
have to
course.
do any runs, I didn't have to stress, and I just and I Minneapolis is my favorite place to travel to in terms of
Oh
GDQ. There's
yeah,
just so much to do there,
it's
and
a
it's the perfect
wonderful
weather for
city.
everything. So
Yeah,
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 that
I
might
can't
have
wait.
been my favorite event actually, but
Nice.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't
they've
know.
just
I try
been.
not to rank them.
Yeah, but I think you're allowed to have a favorite. I think you're
Yeah,
allowed to
yeah.
be like this. This was a step in. Yeah, for me, it was just for everything. It was like the perfect storm of like the great road trip with Lana and Ryan,
Hmm.
meeting all the guys, and then transitioning to the OT, and then getting to commentate for ZFG's run was just
Yeah.
everything about it was just amazing.
Yeah, AGQ 25 was so good too. Like,
Yeah.
definitely top three for me, in terms of personal experience. But yeah, I still think it's number one in terms of their
Hmm.
schedule. Best schedule they've ever had, I think.
Of course. And then, of course, the most recent event, GDQ 2026, which I have a few things to talk about.
Mm.
I only went to half of the event, so there was a little bit I missed out on, but I did get to commentate another run for one Bubzia.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
the blindfolded master. So he had submitted a bid war between OT and MM to do blindfolded, and again, this was kind of a situation where like I think he was more ready to do Ocarina of Time. He was like it's a much more standardized blindfold. Like all the strats have been researched and developed for years and years and years now. So there's a lot bigger understanding.
Hmm.
But for Majora's Mask, like he was still figuring stuff out as the run got accepted, and he was like, okay, well, we need to come up with some better strats. Um, so I was helping him out quite a bit with like not necessarily blindfolded strats, but here's some stuff you might not know about speedrunning that may or may not be helpful, right? Um, and I just remember because it was me and Runner Guy on the couch for it, because Runner Guy is one of the OGs when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to OT speed blindfolded, right?
You can see
Well,
his
OT
name like
speedrunning in
20 years
general.
ago.
Yeah, exactly,
Crazy.
exactly. So like I think he was definitely hoping that OT got in, but he knows enough about as well. But he's definitely the OT guy. And then I was brought in, I think, in case got accepted,
Hmm.
or got voted in, which it did.
Yep.
But I
The
just
reveal was so
remember,
good. Oh my god.
yeah,
I was there for
absolutely.
that run. Oh my god, it's so good.
They kept dragging it on and on to
Yeah.
just be like, it's been revealed after this break. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
funny.
so with that, I just remember the day of Bubzia was in the practice room doing just a practice run of and he amassed a small crowd. There was something I noticed in the final phase, the final fight of Majora, that because it was a struggle to do blindfolded, and so I'm like, well, there's this one strat, this like one low percent ish strat that the only reason you would ever know this is from doing randomizer runs, and like maybe you don't have a certain item because the final phase of Majora, it will never dodge light arrows. That's like the big strat that you do. Even if you don't have any magic, as long as you have a light arrow like equipped on your C button, Wrath will never dodge light arrows, and that's what you do to stun Wrath, and then go for the stun lock quick kill.
Mm.
So in the blindfolded run, you never get light arrows. There's no reason to, like you would never go out of your way to do it. Um, and what you would normally do is just like throw bombs and pray, or like throw Zorafins and pray. But there's this one like noob strat I learned from the 6 or so years that I've been doing randomizers, where you can just charge into Wrath, Azora, hold your shield and just spam the barrier, like the electric attack. And that's like surprisingly consistent at stunning Wrath. And again, no real speedrun application, but in case you're ever doing a randomizer run where you don't have light arrows, this is like the thing to do if you have nothing else. So I decided, you know what, like let's tell Bubsy about that and see if it works for blindfoldedness. Because you don't need to do too much when you're blindfolded for this. You just target Wrath, hold forward, and then hold the buttons to do the attack. And Bubsy instantly he was just like, oh wow, this is so much easier. Like I should definitely be using this. And it just came full circle because at the end of the run, he used that strat, and like there were some complications with the other parts of the run. if I hadn't told Bubsy about that strat, that fight would have been just as much of a struggle as
Hmm.
the rest of the run. But he like nailed it. It was like super, super fast doing the final phase. And I'm just like, I'm so happy I was able to contribute something, right? Just help him out enough to feel like, I made the run just a little bit better. So it felt really, really nice. Even though I'd never played the game blindfolded before, I'd never done blindfolded runs. So it was nice to at least see that come to fruition.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that was a highlight of that event,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. That was
Just
that was such a cool.
the bid word, the reveal. Oh my god, perfect.
Yeah. And that was I'd gotten into contact with Bubsy originally. I kind of skipped over this, but before COVID, I did a lot of speedrunning of Smash 64.
Mm,
You can speedrun the break the targets and for the platform's bonus modes.
yep.
And so I did that for a number of years. And then during COVID, that was one of the games Bubsia wanted to do was blindfolded break the target. So myself and another one of the community members there was helping him out. And so I got to do commentary for a remote run that he did of blindfolded break the targets. And we
Oh
just
yeah.
kept it yeah.
Was that like
That was his
SGDQ 2020?
I think it was like 2020 or 2021. I can't remember.
Because
Uh yeah.
if I'm right with what I said, that was my first GDQ I ever did a run for.
Oh
So
really? Okay.
again, another like personal connection.
There you
But
go.
I thought it was because it was like the first time I ever heard Bubsy.
Yeah. I'm
But
pretty sure that was the first GDQ run that he had ever done.
mhm,
And I was on the commentary for it. But it
that's
was it
cool.
was super scuffed because he only had like a cheap laptop at that time. And so he could not screen share to Discord and stream at the same time.
Oh
So I had to go off of the live feed. So I was reacting to everything like a second or two late.
yeah.
So I was like trying my best to commentate. It was like super scuffed, but because of that, Bubsy and I, came into contact and we still talked, and that was how he came to eventually ask me for for commentating for the blindfolded Zelda run. So
Mhm,
it was nice that that came full circle like that.
yep. Yeah. Good human.
Yeah, no, he's a wonderful human for sure, and we
Yeah,
we got
we've
to
hung out a
chat a
lot
lot.
at
Good, I'm glad.
events, yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna be en route to AGDQ, SGDQ, excuse me, SGDQ in 1 week. Very much looking forward to it. Going to be a blast as always. And then we've got the
mhm.
Zeldathon coming up next month. I'll be doing a remote run for, and then no reset coming up in September. Who knows after that? I've had my fair share of fun runs that I've commentated for. But when I look at my resume, it's like I've commentated for Bubsy, Spike, Vegeta, and ZFG. It's like, oh, those are some powerful names right there. So I'm again very honored that I've been able to be part of that and get my foot in the door, so to speak, with some really really cool GDQ runs. I really do want to do a run for GDQ eventually. I've been submitting Majora's Mask Rando for the last couple of events. No Logic Rando. So we'll see if that eventually gets in. But just have to keep submitting and hope that it eventually happens. But I'm
Mhm,
happy to continue to attend these events for as long as they're still going, and I still have the means to get there. So it's been a wonderful time, and who knows, maybe in the next month or two, I do have a couple videos um, planned for later this year, but again, my process is just so slow that it'll take some time, but we'll get there, and I'll have some new stuff to show off for YouTube soon, and hopefully I haven't lost all my audience. Hopefully, people will still be there to
mhm.
watch it when it happens. So
I'd be shocked if at least someone didn't. Someone's gonna watch it. Like, come on.
yeah, I hope so.
There's a lot of people I know that don't upload very much, but when they do, it's like yes. So
Finally, some food.
finally, some a good meal. But yeah. Do you do any like behind the scenes work at events? I haven't really talked
um,
about that.
a little bit. I'm one of those people who like I can kind of do anything that events require. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of a ton of experience when it comes to like stream tech or audio or anything like that. It's all very foreign to me. But when it comes to like small scale stuff, like setting up streams and stuff, I'm usually fine. And I had a lot of, just kind of taking on whatever work was required at Zeldathon. But I think my usual calling is just like on camera presence. And, you can point a camera at me and I can yap for hours and hours and hours. And that's usually what
Like
I
right now.
prefer to do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um,
Perfect, perfect.
but yeah, I'd be happy to do more in terms of actually, okay, one thing I can talk about is for a couple years I was the logistics coordinator for Zeldathon, which mostly amounted to reviewing submissions and building the schedule, which it was fun for a time, but unfortunately it was a lot of work that I do not have time for
Mm,
anymore. Like when I'm at an event, I can do a lot of stuff, but I am a pretty preoccupied person. I like to keep myself busy, and it does mean I have to make some sacrifices in terms of commitments. So it's one of the reasons why my YouTube upload schedule is so sparse, but
mm,
it's fine. We'll make time eventually. But yeah, building the schedule, it's so complicated because you would think that it's just like, oh, we can we want this run at this time. This is a good run to have at a prime time hour, and then you'll put the schedule out, and then like five people will message you like, I can't do this time. It's
mm.
like, well, what do you mean? And then like, I'm not gonna be here till Monday, or my sleep schedule, I can't be up at 4 a.m. And this is especially the case when I started doing this during COVID and we were doing remote events, which, oh my God, trying to coordinate remote events over the
Mm,
holiday season.
yeah.
Like Zeldathon had a side quest event that was, I think it was December 26th to January 1st. And I think we went through like 5 or 6 iterations of the schedule because everybody was like, well, I can't do this because I have family plans, or I'm traveling or whatever, and it was just a nightmare. So the nice thing about putting the schedule together for a in-person event is you were at the hotel, your run is when we say it is, right? It's like
Yeah.
you can have a little bit more control over that, but it's still like it's like a huge puzzle piece putting everything together, and it feels so nice when you can get it right. But it's just not an easy job at all.
No. I've always had an interest in like kind of the games committee side of things, putting a schedule
Oh yeah,
together because it seems like a puzzle, right? Like you got to
yeah,
fit everything
exactly.
in. So there's got to be a fun thing to it, but yeah, like actually doing it for real, I can understand it being a little hard, especially when you have to if it's a big schedule with a lot of different people, you have to like work it with all of them.
Yeah, and it's not easy either because you have to break hearts too, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you'll have
yeah.
people who put in a ton of effort into their submission, and like it could be a great submission, and just for one reason or another, you can't fit it into the schedule, and it's like I hate to be the bad guy here, but you do have to tell people no, and that's not easy either.
No, yeah.
Um, and oftentimes as well, with Zeldathon, we would be in situations where like we need to like rally the troops and actually um assemble more runs than we have submissions for, right? Because like, oh no, we don't have a submission for Skyward Sword. We need to find someone who can play Skyward Sword. Hey, Gymnast, are you available? You want to do a run for us? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more difficult than it would seem.
Yeah, I've talked to so many people that work behind the scenes at speedrunning events, and
Mhm.
it's rewarding, it's fulfilling, it sounds like, but not easy at all. So I have a
Yeah,
lot of respect for people that can do that, and have always had like a minor interest, but it really depends on the position because you have to be really qualified for a lot of stuff, and it is a lot of work. And
yeah.
oh boy, so
It's not surprising to me. I always make this joke that like GDQ is comprised of like 50% computer science grads and 50% theater kids
pretty much
because
that's what it feels
yeah,
like.
you have the techies who are good at coding, and that's why that's the one that I fall into is I
Yeah.
have a degree in computer science, and it's one of the reasons I love speedrunning so much is um you really get down into like how the code functions in a game and how you can break it. But there's some people who just have no interest in that whatsoever, but the whole performing arts part of it and
Mm,
being on stage or working behind the scenes on stage, that's more their thing, right?
yeah. Yeah, I
And
definitely see the two groups you could place people under. Some people can do both, but
yeah, oh yeah, those are you don't always have an ADEF, but when you do, oh man, you make sure
or
you
you could be me, who's neither good, who flunked out of computer science and hates having the camera on him. So
oh no. Well, that's
I'm
the
the
other thing. That is the other thing is, and I've observed this through Zeldathon over the years, is that there's some people who love going to these events, but they have zero business being on camera whatsoever.
yeah.
They want to be behind the scenes, they want to be doing the tech, and they're so good at it. There's some, some people who it's like you literally have to drag them away from the computer because it's like, all
Hmm.
right, your shift is done. Go eat, go sleep. Like just you need to rest. But you really do have to be thankful for those people because they are the ones keeping the stream alive. The people who know what they're doing, they were just part of the AV club in high school, and they've been in front of a mixer their entire lives, so they know exactly what they're doing. But they're those people who have the knack for it, and I value them deeply.
Yeah. I mean, I do love performing a speed run, but like, yeah, I don't like having cameras on me, anxiety things, but
Right.
I can fake it.
Oh
I
yeah.
can fake being like, all's good. So, but like, yeah. I mean, I didn't use a face cam until like not even 4 years ago,
Right. Right.
around the time I started the podcast, which I guess
Yeah.
makes sense. It'd be weird if I didn't have it, but
Yeah. That's a lot of there's a lot
yeah,
of
it's
different
funny.
talents that go into it. So it's
Mhm.
you kind of have to. There's some things you have to fake. Like I talked earlier about how like I can't write to save my life, and I'm still able to put together a script, but it's difficult, and you have to take liberties, whether it be just fake it till you make it, or
Mhm.
if in my case I'm lucky that I can pay someone else to do it for me, right? So
Yeah. It just reminds me, because I brought up SGDQ 2020 in my first run. During the actual race, they didn't have face cams at the time, but for the interview, they
oh yeah,
wanted you to use one. And I just had like this crummy laptop webcam that I was using. And I just remember doing this interview pre-recorded, normal, but I like teeth were chattering the whole time.
ooh,
Like it was
yeah,
bad. Like I had it rough back in the day. So
yeah,
it's
I'm
just
sure it's
funny how much different I am nowadays, I guess. The character
yeah,
development.
you have to find that comfort zone and then just latch onto it for as long as you can, right? It's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do, but it's certainly something that you can get better with practice, and it's something that I'm fortunate enough to have enough experience with it. Like I'm familiar enough being in front of a camera at this point that it's kind of a not even a thought for me, but for a lot of
Mhm.
people it can definitely be a really really big stepping stone, I think. So
Yeah. Now I'm now at the point where, yeah, every GDQ I want to be on stream at some point. Feel like I'm actually there to like help at least with something. Because I got lucky with like being in every in per getting a run in every in-person event for like 4 events in a row.
right,
But and then I didn't, but I found a way to either be on comms or I was part of the relay last event. So I
yeah,
always
and
find
it's
my way on there somehow. But it's
yep,
just funny because the first few events I was at, I was trying to avoid all possible cameras and stuff. I don't know, it's just
yeah,
funny.
just be as far away from the stream room anywhere you could possibly be seen, even perceived. Yeah, nothing.
Yep. It's funny how things work out, but
Oh yeah.
uh yeah. I love GDQ. 1 week. Just a week away.
Oh my
Wow.
God. I'm so excited.
I'm so I'm so happy about this information. Just a week away. Anyway, so
Okay.
um I mean, is that everything? Have we covered
Yeah, I
everything?
think I think that's basically my whole story, my background, and what I'm about, what I've been doing, and I
Fair
guess for
enough.
the future, I mean, I want to keep doing N64 Zeldas for as long as I can because that's a endless treasure trove of you know
Hmm.
the game is constantly evolving. Even today, like people are still coming up with new routes and new categories and stuff like that. Uh, No Major Glitches is as alive as it's ever been, which is really cool. It's such a neat speed run, and there's a lot of people who are making big ground in that category. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. The OT remake is coming out later this year, and so a lot of people are
Hmm.
excited for that. We already have a Discord for
Of course.
discussion of that. Both it's mostly intended to be a speedrun discussion Discord. It's a little quiet right now, unsurprisingly, because
Hmm.
I mean we don't have anything
All
to
you
go
have
off
is
of at this
like
point.
a minute long
Yeah.
nothing. So yeah.
But a lot of discussion of like, obviously these glitches aren't going to be in the game anymore. We've thought about like, maybe there'll be some Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom tech that might be useful or like may find its way into the game. You never know until you actually delve into it. But we can look at we have the example of this is funny to talk about with OOT 3D. You look at the
Mhm.
differences between N64 and 3D, and that's a little bit different because that's purely just like it's a what we would call like a one-to-one remake where it's the same layout, the same maps and everything, and most of the mechanics are the same. They just did a number of overhauls in terms of like some of the physics engine updates and the graphics and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it is the same game, just in a different coat of paint,
Mhm.
so to speak. But you can look at what the glitches that were patched out, and it's really funny because if you take the list of glitches that were patched out in OT3 and you cross-reference it with a specific speed run that was done, I can't remember who it was, but it was a run from like a year or two before the game came out, and it's lined like every glitch that was done in this specific speedrun is what got patched out. And so
Interesting.
there's
Interesting.
a very long running and credible theory that whoever like Rezo who made OT3D, they looked at this specific speedrun as kind of a guide of like, okay, here's what we need to patch out, here's what we need to get rid of.
Hmm.
Uh Nevertheless, of course, speedrunners, the compulsive and persistent pieces of garbage that they are,
Yeah.
they'll find stuff to do anyway. You look at OT3D, that is a broken friggin' game. It's a
Mhm.
very different speedrun from N64, but there's a lot of really, really cool tech in that game. And I have no doubt in my mind that whatever form the OOT remake this year takes form, we're going to be able to find stuff. We're going to be able to make it into an interesting speedrun. It may end up being a mostly glitchless experience, even at a top level, but I'm hoping that there will be some cool stuff that we'll be able to exploit and make it into its own unique. That is one thing I'm very confident on. It is going to be a completely unique and different experience, speedrun experience to both OOT on N64 and the 3DS version. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm absolutely going to stream the hell out of it when it comes out and hopefully learn how to speedrun it. It's not every day that your speed game gets a remake, but Ocarina of Time is lucky that we get one every decade or two.
Yeah. I know they've only shown the teaser, but like what's your opinion on it?
I know a lot of people had a negative reaction to how Link looked. That
Mhm.
one little like camera pan that we got. I don't hate it. I think I'm in the minority, but I really don't think it looks that bad. A lot of people said it looks like Unreal Engine slop or whatever,
Yeah.
but I think maybe it's just that I don't play enough modern games. Like the list of games that I have played in the last, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years, it's like Outer Wilds and Deltarune. Like they're
Yeah.
not the most graphically intensive games. I don't really even know what Unreal Slop would look like. So to me, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
cool, they're making an HD version of Ocarina of Time. So I don't know.
Fair enough.
I didn't mind it at all. I'm also very confident. Like Nintendo usually, when it comes to these sort of things, they don't tend to cheap out. And you can look at the Star Fox remake that just came out as an example of this. That remake looks really, really, really good. I've heard some mixed things about the character models, the hyper realistic thing that they're going for, but the game itself is gorgeous. Like it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
They
no.
definitely nailed that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like they're doing this new thing for the Switch too, where yeah, just take well, currently just take N64 game and remake it completely.
Hmm.
They just did it with Star Fox now, Ocarina of Time. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a trend they're starting now or what, but it's interesting.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, you can look at it and definitely see like what sort of thing they're going for, and you can kind of extrapolate and be like, okay, well, this is probably we can make an educated guess of what's the OT remake is going to look like based on how they redid Star Fox. The one thing I'm hoping that it's not going to be the same where it's like effectively a one-to-one remake where all the puzzles are the same, the layout's all the same. I'm hoping they take a few more liberties that way. But again, we really don't know until we see, which we're assuming there's going to be like a dedicated direct at some point specifically for it.
Mhm.
At which point we'll probably have a little bit better idea of what is and isn't going to be part of the speed run. But either way, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. So uh, yeah, cautious optimism, I say, would be my if I had to sum it up in a couple words. That's how I'm approaching it.
All right, fair enough. Uh, well, I guess that's everything then.
Mhm.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
All right. Well, you talked about your future plans and everything, so I guess if you're satisfied with our discussion, then that can
Yeah,
be all.
absolutely. This is a great conversation. Uh, you got all the stuff. I don't even need to like plug myself or anything.
Mhm.
Check me out. I'm Vidya James everywhere except for Twitch because some bastard is sitting on the Vidya James Twitch accounts and all variants of it. But maybe someday we can get a little bit more consistent branding. We'll see.
I
But for
mean,
now, we'll tell.
it's nice
Yeah,
you were able to shrink it actually.
yeah. I'm happy with the 5 letter username. It's just I wish because like oftentimes I'll go into a chat. It's like they don't know it's Vidya James. They just see Vidya. It's like, oh, who could
Yeah,
this be?
that's fair.
But it's easy enough to have and be like, hey, my Twitch is Vidya. Oh, cool. So
Yep. Everything else is consistent at least. So,
yeah, of course.
and yeah, so look out for Zelda and some YouTube content in the works
Yeah,
eventually. So, sounds
yeah.
good.
Thank you for having me on for this. This was
Oh
a
yeah, no
wonderful chat.
problem. Yeah, I love talking. Well, I don't do much of the talking. I do much of the listening, but I like listening, so that's fine. It all
People's
works
stories.
out.
Yeah,
But yeah, that'll be all for today. So thanks everyone for watching as always. I will upload this to YouTube right away. And hello if you're watching from YouTube. And then yeah, the next 2 episodes will air while I'm at GDQ, and I'll have to stream them in advance. So we're coming
lovely.
up. GDQ soon. Yeah, we'll both be there, and everyone else should, if you're not going, should watch it because it's cool. They actually have a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
banger schedule this time, so a lot
yeah.
of good stuff.
Come say hi.
Yeah. All right, that'll be all for today. Take care, everyone.
See ya.